The exhaled air of human beings has a very high content of CO2, which is approximately 100 times above the ambient CO2 concentration. At the same time, the exhaled breath is almost 100% humid, so it contains a large number of water molecules and small water aerosol droplets. It is these aerosol droplets that can contain the virus and actually lead to infection and transmission of the virus. Yes, as the CO2 concentration is about approximately 100 times higher than in the ambient air, in a closed room with a given volume, the exhaled air of human beings will increase the CO2 concentration. Now, as a matter of fact, a single breath of a human being can convert around 1,200 cubic feet of air from clean air with ambient CO2 concentration to about 1,000 ppm CO2 concentration, which is the common limit where airing or ventilation is indicated. As a renowned CO2 sensor manufacturer, ever since it has become clear that aerosol infection and the explained correlation to CO2 exists, we have been starting to prepare our supply chain of STD30 CO2 sensors and ramp up to the point where we're now having high quantities of CO2 sensors available on short lead times, which allows manufacturers of CO2 monitors to in turn ramp up their production quickly as well. Yes, there is another way. Besides ventilation, which means exchanging the air for new, fresh air from outside, there is also the option of purifying the air. Air purification devices that include HEPA filters are indeed suited to filter out aerosol particles that contain the virus and thus inactivate the virus and reduce transmission. However, it is important that the supplied amount of air, filtered air, is in a good correlation to the number of people in a certain room and the volume of the room itself. But if this is given, air purification besides ventilation is a good measure to reduce the risk of COVID infections in indoor environments.